Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic astrology coach Rahat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic astrology. I talk about transits. In the recent times I have made a video on Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces and how it is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant and the moon signs over the next 2.5 years. This video is available on my channel. So what's happening on 29th of March 2025? This is the day when 6 planets are coming together in the sign of Pisces. These 6 planets are Rahu, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Moon and Saturn. Now interestingly, I have named all these 6 planets based on their duration of time that they have spent in the sign of Pisces, where Rahu has spent the most time in the last 1.5 years. Rahu has been in the sign of Pisces. Now it is going to change signs over the next couple of months and move to the sign of Aquarius. This video is about global predictions. What could we expect? Some of the events that could trigger over the next couple of months, and individual insights, energies, predictions, some tips that you can have if you are going through Dasha, Antardasha, Pratantardasha of any of these planets, Rahu, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Moon or Saturn. Either of these 6 planets. And then in the second part of the video, which I will release pretty soon, I am going to talk about how this particular conjunction, which coincides with the annual solar eclipse, is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs and the moon signs. So 29th of March 2025, 6 planets are coming together. This is also the day when Saturn enters the sign of Pisces. It is going to be at 0 degrees and we will also have the first partial solar eclipse of the year. Thankfully, Jupiter is not involved in this conjunction and the eclipse, Mars is not involved. Considering the fact that it is also partial solar eclipse, it is not the total solar eclipse. So the intensity of this day, this conjunction is not very high as we would normally expect it to be. So that is good news for us. Eclipses are a very good time for spiritual sadhana. For any prayers, any meditation, anything that you start. Solar eclipse marks new beginnings. I have made a video on lunar eclipse that happened on 14th of March. So lunar eclipse marks the ending. 2 weeks after that, we have solar eclipse that marks new beginnings. Now this eclipse is happening in the sign of Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter, and in the nakshatra of Uttara Bhadrapad, that is ruled by Saturn. We do have certain factors to consider around this time, but there are 2 lords, which rules the highest of dharma, artha, kama and moksha houses, the ruler of the 4 purusharthas or the pillars of life, that is Jupiter and Saturn, the natural rulers of Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces, which are the natural 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th houses are involved. So the solar eclipse delivers good as well as bad results, but most importantly, it marks new beginnings. This is the best day for any spiritual sadhana, chanting mantras or prayers. That is something which I have already shared with you. Now let me talk about some global events that I foresee based on my research. Last time this eclipse in the sign of Pisces in Uttara Bhadrapad Nakshatra happened in 2006. Around the same time, coincidentally it was 29th of March 2006 when this eclipse happened. It was a total solar eclipse. There were not many other planets that were involved in this eclipse. So the intensity was quite high because Rahu and Ketu were the dominant factor in this eclipse. And we must remember, when Rahu and Ketu has a greater influence, that triggers sudden events because Rahu and Ketu are the significator of suddenness in life. So they trigger sudden events, sudden changes. When there are other planets that are involved, then these influences are mitigated because this eclipse has been influenced by Venus, by Mercury and also somewhat by Saturn. I do expect the intensity of suddenness to minimize around this time. This is happening in Uttara Bhadrapad 4th pada, which is the pada of moksha, spiritual liberation. So therefore it is an excellent time to put your discipline in spiritual practices, spiritual pursuits. From a regional perspective, the partial solar eclipse will be visible from Canada, parts of Europe, which includes Northern Europe, Central Europe. These are some of the regions that will be impacted. So if you live in the US, Canada, Northern Europe, UK, parts of Central Europe, you're likely to be impacted at the individual level. So the intensity could be quite higher compared to people from other parts of the world. Though, of course, all the people who are going through Dasha, Antardasha, Pratantardasha of any of these planets Rahu, Ketu, Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury and Saturn and also Jupiter are likely to be impacted by this solar eclipse. So based on my research, I could expect that there could be not one but two possible earthquake kind situations. So there could be earthquake related incidents, tsunami or volcanic eruptions. These are the three things that could trigger, and I would anticipate that there could be at least two such unforeseen events. I expect and hope that the intensity of these events are as low as possible, but this is purely based on research and historically what has happened when an eclipse occurs in these circumstances or situations. So between April to June is the time window, because when an eclipse happens, it of course takes a couple of months of time, a few weeks, in order to intensify and of course trigger some of the major global events. So I would expect from a regional point of view, Southeast Asian region in and around Indonesia, in and around Myanmar, some of these regions, Australia, New Zealand, more on the coastal side, and also the West Asian region. So these are the three belts that we need to pay careful attention at. So there could be mid to high magnitude of an earthquake or a tsunami kind of a situation that could also trigger. This could be due to an earthquake, or there could be a major volcanic eruption that could happen in some of these regions. Now, Central Europe is also one of the affected regions. So we could see flood kind situation over the next 2 to 3 months, which could be quite intense, which could be quite massive. This could also trigger some disease or some viruses which are related to water. So this is something which we have to be mindful of, which we have to be careful of. So either there could be water that is involved, or there could be birds that are involved. So it is more or less a virus that is generated either through water or birds. So this is a time where we have to probably exercise utmost caution. I do not expect that to intensify, but yes, that could trigger to some limited global disturbance or more of a fear at the mental level over the next few weeks or months. But this is really marking a new beginning, which is related to the sign of Pisces wherever it falls in your chart. I hope and believe that my prediction to turn out wrong. Okay, I do not expect such unforeseen events to happen in the world, but we live in a world, we have to live with these events and exercise utmost caution. Do a lot of prayers, do a lot of sadhana in order to spread the message of peace, in order to channelize and of course work on protection of the world and humanity. Now let's try and understand, if you're running through Dasha, Antardasha, Pratantardasha of any of these planets, how this time period could have an impact on you. So let's begin with Rahu, because Rahu has spent the most amount of time in the sign of Pisces. Last year and a half, it has been making a transit in the sign of Pisces. So if you're running through the periods, this could definitely trigger sudden events. So if you're running through period of Rahu or Ketu, so you understand that eclipse is a significator of suddenness, because suddenly it gets dark, suddenly it gets bright. So all of these events happen at a sudden or a quick succession. It lasts a few hours, but this sudden darkness and brightness only lasts for a few minutes of time. So this is something which you must pay careful attention. So be prepared for suddenness in life. So it could be suddenness related to the sign of Pisces wherever it falls in your chart, and also the sign of Virgo, because it is the Pisces-Virgo axis. Rahu co-rules the sign of Aquarius, Ketu co-rules the sign of Scorpio. Therefore, these two signs are one of the most complex and mysterious signs in Vedic astrology, because it has two lords. Saturn also rules Aquarius and Mars also rules Scorpio. Based on their placement, the connection of the grahas or the planets, you can expect sudden events, sudden ups and downs, frequent shifts. So you have to be prepared mentally as well as physically, so that you could take the corrective actions and decisions related to these houses and matters related to these houses. A remedy for you could be look up to Sri Hari, Lord Vishnu, because see, from an historical point of view, Lord Vishnu is the one who can control Rahu. Or from a remedial point of view, you must remedy Jupiter in your chart, because Rahu is the one who listens to Jupiter. He also listens to Venus, because he considers Venus as his guru. But more from a wisdom point of view, if you were to channelize these energies, use a simple Guru mantra, which is Om Guruve Namah. This is how you can channelize the positive energies of Rahu and also Ketu. But be prepared for suddenness. But remember There is light at the end of the tunnel. After darkness, there is light. It marks the new beginnings. And may these sudden energies of Rahu and Ketu bring fresh beginnings in your life, but you must be prepared for any such events. Let us now talk about Venus. So if you're running through Dasha, Antardasha, Pratanta Dasha, any of the periods related to Venus, or if Venus is connected to any of the Dasha planets that you're running, so this Venus is exalted and also retrograde during the time of the eclipse and this sixth planetary conjunction. But Venus has a greater say or a greater influence in this conjunction and also in eclipse because it is Ucha, it is exalted. However, unfortunately, during the time of eclipse, Venus is also retrograde. So this causes Uchchabhanga. Firstly, it is conjoined Mercury that is going through its debilitation transit. It is also conjoined Rahu. So there is a certain amount of affliction that Venus has. And moreover, it has gone retrograde. So it is cancellation of the exaltation, which is Uchchabhanga. This is also a concept which many of the times people don't talk about. So those under these related periods should be prepared with karmas related to interpersonal relationships, any of these relationships. So you will see an increased intensity in your way of dealing with relationships in life because Venus is a significator of all kinds of interaction. The sign that Venus is making a transit is Pisces, which represents devotion, donations, the sense of giving and let go. So you need to let go something in your relationship. This is an increased karma that you have to fulfill. There is also a sense of devotion. You must pray to Lord Vishnu or you must pray to Goddess Lakshmi. Use a simple Vishnu mantra that is Om Vishnave Nama, or you use a Lakshmi mantra that is Om Lakshmaya Nama in order to channelize and make the most of these energies. There could also be certain decisions that you would need to take with regards to your finances or financial management and how you could take care of your savings and investment. So this is also more from a karmic point of view. I do not expect sudden events. So you could either make or break relationships. This also marks the new beginning of relationship. And you must avoid any kind of indulgence, any kind of extravagance over the next few weeks. Otherwise, you could have health related repercussions. So put your focus back into the relationship, mend the ties, step into the situation instead of stepping out or away from the situation. This is more or less a tip or an insight for you that will be useful, and I wish you the very best. Let us talk about Mercury and its role in this conjunction and also the eclipse. So if you're running through periods, sub-periods of Mercury, or if Mercury is in any way connected to your Dasha Lord, Antardasha Lord or Pratanta Dasha Lord for Gemini, Virgo ascendants, because Mercury is the ruler of these ascendants. This Mercury is debilitated and also retrograde at the time of the eclipse and during this sixth planetary conjunction in the sign of Pisces. This is automatically causing a Neechabhanga, though it is conjoined with the exalted Lord Venus, who gets exalted in Pisces. So this is also causing Neechabhanga or cancellation of debility. But when a planet goes debilitated and it is retrograde at the same time, it cancels or it behaves as if it's an exalted Mercury. So this Mercury is more or less behaving as if it's in the sign of Virgo where it is exalted. So those who are going through periods of Mercury should foster deep spiritual level connect and communication with others. You would probably connect with other people at the soul level. Your communication will have a sense of intelligence and eloquence at the same time. So this will be the focus of the hour. Those running through such periods must donate, must help others. Any donations pertaining to support of education of other children or students would be extremely helpful. Those people who are going through higher education or trying to pursue higher education, these students could excel, or probably you could expect good results around this time if you're pursuing higher education or if you're planning to initiate any form of higher education, skill building or even upskilling as well. So this is something which you can expect. Mercury is also the significator to cash. So you will also do a lot of cash management because Mercury is naturally making a transit in the sign which represents expenses, which represents giving away. So you would need to manage your income, expenses and a sense of saving. So you will have a renewed focus towards your future, towards the expenditure. You have communication related karma, but you will build your communication. You will also build your intelligence. See, Mercury in the sign of Pisces I have in my research seen this combination, especially when it is retrograde, in very intelligent people who have a high level of IQ. So this is an opportunity for you to build your intelligence quotient and also to build your emotional quotient by the virtue of your communication, and I wish you the very best. Those people who are under Sun or Surya Dasha or its sub periods, what is that you can expect? Now Surya is in the sign of Pisces, that is ruled by Jupiter. Sun and Jupiter share a friendly relationship, and these two planets are the one who are in perfect harmony with each other. So this is the kind of sambandha which Surya has with Jupiter. Now those under Sun's time period could expect new work opportunities, because Sun is the significator of initiation. It is going through a whole cycle. Sun is making a transit in the last sign. Mid of April, we will mark the new Vedic year or the new Hindu year. And this is an important phenomenon because there are endings and then there are new beginnings. And Sun is the giver of resources, the giver of work, and also the giver of Raja Yoga. So any Raja Yogas or important yogas in the chart, combinations, only give you fruitful results if Sun approves those Raj Yogas. So Sun and Moon both play a very important role. You could expect new opportunities, new work, support from government. Any paperwork that probably was delayed could move ahead. You could probably have authority issues or support from authority depending on the kind of Dasha Antardasha that you have and the natal placement of Sun in the chart. If it is connected to Kendra houses, triangle houses, you could expect mostly good results and new opportunities coming your way. You will also over the next few weeks connect with highly influential people or those people who have a certain kind of authority. You will build your own authority as well. So you must remember Sun in Pisces is Vishnu Aditya, which is one of the 12 names of the Sun. Lord Krishna himself said in Bhagavad Gita while preaching Arjun that he is Vishnu amongst the Adityas. It is very closely related to Lord Krishna. So Vishnu Aditya doesn't mean Lord Vishnu. It is the name of one of the 12 sons of Aditi or one of the 12 forms of Surya. A simple mantra for you to channelize the energies on the day of eclipse could be Om Kleem Gopichand Vallabhai Swaha. And this way you can attract a lot of positive energies and abundance in your life. See, I do expect Sun to be positive in this eclipse because it's in a friendly sign of Jupiter. Moreover, it has crossed halfway through the sign of Pisces, right? So this is where I would expect a huge difference of degrees between Rahu and Sun. Therefore, it's a partial eclipse, right? It's not a close conjunction. So the intensity is quite low. You need to focus on building new resources. You need to focus on initiation and starting anything new. So it's an excellent time for you to do spiritual sadhana and of course worship Lord Krishna to remove any ill effects or minimize any ill effects of this eclipse, and I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Moon's role. If Moon is any way connected to your ongoing Dasha, Antardasha, Pratantardasha, or if it is connected to any of the lords that you're running the major or sub periods in your life, what could you expect in this eclipse? Moon is going to be running through the sign of Pisces. Now Moon rules the sign of Cancer. So from a transit point of view, this is 9 houses from the sign of Cancer that is lorded by Moon. So it is bringing a greater focus on fortune and also dharma. So you would need to build your fundamentals when it comes to your dharma, your belief system. This could be your religion as well. Those who are running periods and sub periods of Moon or Chandra could expect some quick decisions, some sudden decisions that you will have to take. You will not get a lot of time before you make these decisions, so you have to be mentally prepared. So there could be a situation related to work where you have to take a decision independently without involving others, and the stakes could be quite high. Or in your personal life, let's say relationship matter, you need to take a decision or you need to make an action. You would not like to wait for other people to get involved. So be prepared for quick and sudden decisions and stay away from any environmental disturbances or any external influences which could greatly influence your decision in a negative manner. So the less reliant you are on external influences, circumstances, because you must remember, see, you cannot control other people, the way they influence you and the way they probably influence your decision making. But what you can control is yourself, your mind, your thoughts. Those running moon's period definitely need a lot of meditation around the day of the eclipse, and of course for the next few weeks, because when you meditate, you are able to think through and unleash your potential. You understand your potential, you have a greater self-awareness, and then you can control your mind and overcome any negative energies or probably the susceptible negative influences of other people that could cause a negative impact on you. So there's a greater sense of awareness which time period calls. So do a lot of self-awareness exercise, understand your key strengths and how you can leverage the best of your strengths. Your work environment is likely to be impacted by this eclipse either positively or negatively depending on the placement of moon and also the placement of Jupiter in your chart and the kind of role that it is playing. So again, you could meditate to realize your potential, because see, environment that other people are creating or at the organization level again is not in your control. How other people behave or how you are getting a given task or projects. But what you can control is your sense of actions, your sense of decision. So you need to do a bit of preparation as far as this particular matter is concerned. Worship Goddess Parvati or worship Lord Krishna to make the most of this transit. Use a simple powerful mantra Om Hare Rama Krishna in order to make the most and channelize these energies and make good decisions. Now let us talk about Saturn, who is the newest entrant in the sign of Pisces on the day of the eclipse. So the eclipse is happening and Shani Maharaj, Shani Dev is also entering, making its grand entrance in the sign of Pisces, where it will remain there for the next 2.5 years. It will be at 0 degrees. So it has just stepped into the situation. See, we must remember planets such as Shani or Saturn, they take their own time to deliver results or to cause any negative as well as positive impact. Shani. I would expect Saturn to start delivering results in about 2 or 3 months of time, when it would change its position or placement in the Navamsha in transit. So being the newest entrant, if you're running through period, sub-period of Saturn, or if anyway Saturn is connected to your Dasha Lord or key houses in your chart, you could expect a delayed period in anything that you're doing. So you would need to wait, you would need to build plenty of patience and resilience. See, Shani is also going to be involved in an intense conjunction with Rahu. That could bring suddenness, that could bring sudden changes, that could bring work related changes primarily, and these decisions could be very much sudden in nature. So you could get a new project, you could have a change of residence, shift of work, change of location, or probably some expectations could be there which could be either unrealistic for you, or you could initially have difficulty in order to cope up with those expectations. Now if you work with commitment, with dignity, with ethics and with quality, you will be able to exceed those expectations. Mark my words, if you leverage the power of labor in this transit, you will exceed expectations, and of course you will have unlimited growth opportunities as far as this transit is concerned. This is an excellent time to donate from a karmic standpoint. So if you were to improve your work related opportunities, your job, new work, and of course the existing work environment and support of other people, please make donations. This is more from a karmic standpoint. Such people will have a greater focus also on their lifestyle and also physical health. So the next few months, 2 to 3 months, the number one priority for you running these periods is your lifestyle and your physical health, because you have a huge opportunity to make a shift and be consistent in your new lifestyle, which will foster your health and well-being, which will support growth, and eventually will bring in new opportunities for you, and you must be prepared for it. Worship Lord Shiva, do a Rudra Abhishek or chant a simple Shiva mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Sada Shivaya, and he is the one who will protect you and guide you towards greater success. So friends, this was another unique video on the annual first solar eclipse of the year 2025, which is happening on 29th of March, where 6 planets are coming in conjunction in the sign of Pisces. It's an intense period. Next 2 to 3 months, I expect a lot of intensity. I hope you like this video. In the second part, I'm going to talk about how this eclipse and the conjunction is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs. Thank you very much. God bless you all.